Yeah. So this is the GL setup document. You can see here, some of the tabs are in green colors, some are in different colors. Okay. So
But
when
you are not sharing your.
okay. Are you able to see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, you have to give one cover page for this setup document, like for which project you are preparing this setup document, and creation date. Okay. Author. Suppose you are Ravi, you are preparing, give your name, and on which date you started creating this, or in which date you completed the setup document and delivered to the customer or sent review for customer. So you can mention that date. Okay. And these three tab actually last updated by document version. So when you create the document for the first time, the document version will be 1. Okay. When it is last, suppose you created the document and after that someone else has access to this document, they have made some setup changes. Okay. On different date. Suppose you prepared the document in 2019 and another guy came in 2020, and as per client requirement, they have made some changes. So here you mention last updated date in 2020 and who has made the changes. Correct? So version. Again, he has to change the version name here. Version 2. In this way, you have to track all the documents in real time. So there should be a standard procedure to create our document repository and follow some standard rules. So standard and conventions. So here you can mention the color conventions. Which setup is mandatory, you can make it green, and configuration marked as blue will be common. Common means it's not specific to GL, but it's across all module. This setup is required. Okay. And which like some setups which are not mandatory, even though it's available in GL, it's not mandatory and not required for your client. You can mark it as red. Okay. So in that way, you can mention what is your rules you are following or conventions, recommendations for your setup documents. Document control, this page is very important. So any review, because once you create the setup document, there can be a number of changes to this setup document. That is a normal thing actually. It's not that you created the document, that is the final one. Even if it is went live, later on, suppose you made some approval changes, approval rule changes, or you created new document sequences, you added new ledgers, new business units. So you have to update the setup document, and what you can do, you have to track document version. You have to track all your document version. Suppose you made here 2.0. So 2.0, suppose 25th October, you made some changes. 2020, today January, 8th January 2023, you made some changes. So that is BPM journal approval rule changes. Okay. First one is initial version. And now journal approval changes. Owner. Who has made the changes? Suppose Mohan Babu made the changes. Okay. In this way, whenever client will verify the data, review the setup documents, they will able to know who has made what changes and on which date. Okay. Then it will, every changes will go for approval in real time. It's not that you will go in production and make the changes. That not happen. Every single changes, a minuscule changes, you have to take approval. Usually what happens in real time, there will be one business approval. Okay. One business approval means end user approval. Because from business perspective, end user only give you the requirement. I need these changes. So once you made the changes in dev instance, first go to the that user that we have made the changes in test instance. Please just verify, test, and give your approval. So business will approve this. Then the second approval usually happens from IT department, IT team. So there will be IT leader or IT manager who will actually leading the overall IT departments, overall software department or ERP departments. So what they will check if the business has approved or not, testing has completed or not. Then you will approve. Once it is approved, then you are ready to, or you are good enough to migrate the changes or deploy the changes in production. Okay. This is the normal rules or usual procedure to follow, or you can tell it the change procedures, change management process, how you are doing this. Any question?
Sir, for any changes in production, they're going to raise tickets in Jira or ServiceNow, right? If anything going to change in production, they should raise the request in Jira ticket, right?
Correct. Jira ticket. There can be different tools. Jira is one of the tools. ALM, application lifecycle management. Another tool is called Quality Center. Another is called that is ServiceNow. So these are very comprehensive ticketing tools or support tool, which the client actually, as per their requirement, they can take, and in Jira, the user will raise one Jira ticket. Based on that Jira ticket, it will flow to the consultant or support team. They will make the changes, and it will deploy the production. So this is the support actually. These are support tools actually. For implementations, usually you don't need a supporting tools because implementation, because you have never implemented. If it is end-to-end implementations, then I don't think you need Jira. But again, you can raise a ticket for implementation ticket. That's in Jira also or ALM. You can create a project that it's an implementation project and track the progress. Because you can do your testing, CRP1, CRP2, upload the testing test scripts into ALM systems and do the testing. So that is also possible. It's not like that only support, but it's very ideal it's a very ideal or very excellent tool to handle all your support cycle or change management cycle. But you can also track your implementation within these tools. What is the table index? So table index means what I like. These are the all mandatory setup you have to do, and then okay. So Mostly these are some of their mandatory, some are common setup. So what happens, you can just create an hyperlink for each of the setup. In Excel, there is a formula. You can give your, so if you click this particular setup, it will navigate directly to you, to that particular tab setup. You can enable hyperlink here. Okay. Then offerings. This is not required actually. So geography tool. Geography data, you know, that you have to load. What happens for any geography you want to implement something, you have to enable that geography. Okay. But the thing is that shaded geography already been exists in Oracle. Whenever you get the subscription of the Oracle Fusion app, they have predefined geography already. If any additional geography which is not available, that is very rare, you can import, but mostly it should be there. Manage legal address. Okay. The first thing is you have to define the legal address. Yes. Because they are all dependent setup. After legal address, you have manage legal entity. So legal entity, what is your legal entity name? Demo legal entity.
Sir, this legal entity details are we getting from client or do we need to register the legal entity?
No, you will get from client only.
So
How
nothing to create it, right? Nothing to be registered.
No, registration already there, na? Registration is already there, but you have to set up the registration here in Oracle. Legal entity registration, hai na? In that form, you have to just
Yes,
define your legal entity.
Okay, sir. Yeah, understood.
Okay. So this is managed. First, you have to define legal entity address, legal address, then manage legal entity. Here I have one question. Suppose initially your company or your client has given you this address. After 1 year, they told that we have moved our company building and company address. How can you handle this for your legal entity? This is real-time scenario. The company has changed its legal address. How can you do this in Oracle Fusion? Can you guys tell me?
Can we end the present legal entity and can we create a new legal entity, sir, with the same date?
Why I need to end the legal entity? I am not changing the legal entity. I am just changing the legal address.
Legal address.
Yeah, just we can going to create new legal address, then we can assign to the legal entity, right?
Correct. No need to change the legal entity. You can remove the old address and assign the new address. That's all. What we have to do again? Suppose this legal entity is linked to one business unit, right? And this is the business unit also has the same location. What we have to do that then?
We have to add the same location to BU as well.
Yeah. So in BU also we have to replace the new location with old one. Okay. Then manage legal entity. So mostly the legal entity identifier. That should be the unique one. The ideal naming convention is what you can do, legal entity underscore your balancing segment value. In that way, you can identifier, give an identifier so that it will be easily tracked. Like this legal entity belongs to this balancing segment. So this is the ideal way of defining the legal entity identifier. Here you can give the legal entity name, your identifier, start date, and TIN numbers. It's all tax legal entity registration number. This is tax registration number. Okay, so legal entity registration and tax registration number, they can be different. Okay. Tax registration number, like it should be GST number. In India specifically, in the US, like sales tax registration number. Okay, but here the legal entity registration number, that can be different also from tax registration number. To manage legal entity SCM information. So I told you in last classes, you have to assign your legislative data group, okay, to legal entity. Once you create your legal entity, you have to assign the LDG here in this setup. That is actually why it is I made it not in green, other colors, because it's a common setup for all. Across modules, this setup is required. So I don't think the GL team will implement this, but HRMS team, they will do these setups. But if the company is not implementing HR or HCM modules, so you have to do this setup. Manage the reference data set. Very important. Can you tell me what is reference data set and what is the business use of this? Anybody? Explain.
For few business units, they're having the same requirement like payment terms, transaction types.
Yeah.
So yeah, to differentiate, to easy to use that, we can have a concept of reference data set. So we can create a payment amount and we can add that to under payment term, we can add the RDS. So when we are using, we can add the RDS for that particular BU.
Correct.
Yeah, sharing the data mainly.
Sharing the setup data across different entity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that, as per your requirement, you can set this. Manage business unit. So that is also can be a part of GL setup or not, because if you are not implementing other module, you have to include here, because this is also required for GL setup. When you are doing your assign business BU business function, you have to mandatorily assign one business unit also through legal entity and your ledger. So this is required. Assign business unit business functions. So guys, can you tell me what is the significance of this setup? Assign business unit business function.
Yeah, the mainly to enable the business unit functions. So if you want like the business units need to support for payable invoice, the payments, the customer, the customer payments kind of things.
Right.
I think whichever it is showing.
Yeah. So here it is the control, the business unit, how you want to use this business unit, which function you want to enable. If this business unit only for invoicing, you can keep it yes. If procurement, revenue, other functionalities you don't need, you can keep it as no, so that this functions and menu will not be available for this business unit. Okay.
Sir, for this one, for this one, right? As you said, right? Say example, this BU can be used for only invoicing, right? But in our instance, where can we do this, sir?
Instance same the same navigations, manage business unit, business function. Go there. You know this manage financial. Sorry, assign business unit. Here you can select.
Assign business units, business one. Okay.
Yeah. So why we need this setup in GL? Just let me open this. Suppose US1 business unit. See, you can see here, right? Once you open this, it's primary ledger, legal entity you have to assign.
Legal entity.
Yeah, so it's a link between business unit, ledger, and legal entity. So you have to create this link here. Okay.
Okay.
So here you
Okay,
can
sir.
see all the business functions has been listed out here. And suppose, because you know, in lot of organization, they create separate entity, separate business unit for payment processing, separate entity for business invoice processing, procurement view separate, requisition view separate. So there can be different business unit for different functionalities. So here you can control this. Okay. Mostly what happens in real time, they will create one global procurement business unit, like that business unit only be used to purchase and handle the suppliers, vendor management, everything. So any requisitioning, procurement activities, they will create across globe with one procurement business unit. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
yeah, so let me close this. And what is the next setup? Business unit set assignment. So here that reference data set you have to assign here, like which setups you want to share. Suppose you have already one setup for other business unit and same setup you want to use for your new business unit, you can just create a reference data set and assign to that view. That's also I can show you. Manage, assign business unit, business function, set assignment here. If I open this, you can see here, there are a lot of reference data set here. Okay, they have created for different purpose, different setups, different business unit. So, see, China view set, China location set. So you have to create. This is for US1 business unit. That's why you have assigned. You can see for customer account site, they have created separate set. So mostly, but suppose you created a new business unit, US2. So either you can create a US2 view set or you can use the US1 view set also. So if you use the US1 view set, whatever setup you did, for example, contract type you created earlier and assigned US1 business unit. Now you don't have to create one new contract type. Just create one new business unit new contract type, reference data set and assign to that this US1 view set. I have created one video also on that, manage COA structure, COA value set. Now you have to create your value set here. Okay. Now your core finance setup came. So this is also why it is not colored in green, because this all happened through DRM. DRM means data relationship management tool. So every company, mostly in huge organization, they have thousands of values, like company values, segment values, COA segment values, and they have to handle separately. Okay, because every day you have to add some cost centers, delete some cost center, disable some cost center. You are adding some new product. You are adding started business operation in new geography, new countries, new location. So frequently you have to change that chart of account values, right? So that's why Oracle has provided that DRM, data relationship management, and on Hyperion tool. So this Hyperion is integrated to Oracle. And in Hyperion, what you can do, you can maintain all your chart of account values, maintain all your chart of account hierarchy, and you can integrate as the integration. So once you update something in Hyperion, that values will be updated in Oracle. Okay, so in some organization, they are doing manually also, like in Hyperion, they will update, then they will inform the Oracle team that we have created in Hyperion, please update in Oracle also. So why Hyperion used? Can you let me know? Anybody, any idea about Hyperion?
Yeah, sir. It is mainly used for reporting purpose.
Right. So it's
I
reporting.
think so. Now it's been clubbed in EPM, right, sir? Not
Yeah,
after
PPM.
coming into the fusion, right?
Yeah, coming under fusion, but it's a part of PPM.
EPM, yes,
But
yes.
some of the functionalities you can use without completely enabling EPM functionalities. Like this reporting part, you can do even without implementing EPM. EPM is a very vast. In EPM, you will get financial consolidation, planning and budgeting. Lot of other things are there. If you get complete license of EPM model, account reconciliation, consolidations, lot of complex thing you can do in EPM, budgeting, planning, everything. I'm just telling you about the reporting part, like how it is integrated to Oracle, so that it's called actually S-based queue. S-based queue. It's a S-based database or queue. It's called S-based queue. So it's based on S-based database, and it's called a multi-dimensional queue. Multi-dimensional queue. Why it is called multi-dimensional queue? Because reporting happens from different dimensions. Okay. In Oracle, whatever setup you do, so they treat all these setups as a dimension. For example, chart of account. So you are like all setup which are relevant for reporting. For example, chart of account, we have 7 segments, right? So they will treat each segment as a dimension. Like currency is significant for or important for reporting. So each currency is a dimension. Okay. Balance type like actual or budget. Okay. So this is also a dimension. Period. Whether you want reporting quarterly, monthly, 6 months, annually. So each of the period, it's a dimension. So that's why it's called multi-dimensional reporting tool. It's flexible enough to generate you a report based on segment value, based on currency, based on balance type, based on period. And this Hyperion hierarchy is used everywhere, like in allocation, in revaluation, in your FRS reporting, in your smart view reporting, okay, and your OTY reporting also. That's why it's very important to maintain all this accounting hierarchy correctly in Hyperion. So in real time, the core consulting team usually don't maintain all these value sheet. They can design the things. They can design the things, then create the values, but ultimately the maintenance of this hierarchy happens in Hyperion, later on updated in Oracle. So in most companies, they have integration programs they have created so that once you run that integration import program in Oracle, suppose something you update in Hyperion, it will update it in Oracle also. Every week or every day, they schedule that program. So anything you update in Hyperion, will update in Oracle. Otherwise, it will create a reporting issue, right? Something, suppose you created in Oracle. So, and the sequence is first, you have to update in reporting tool, and then you have to update in Oracle. Why? Any reason? Can you tell me? Because suppose you define something in Oracle, not in Hyperion. Now, these transactions, suppose cost center 1, 2, 3, 4, you define in Oracle. Okay, CS 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a new cost center you define in Oracle, not in Hyperion. So at the month end, whatever transaction based on this cost center, you will import to or like migrate to Hyperion, you will get an error because this cost center is not available in Hyperion. So that's why first define all the new value in Hyperion, then in Oracle. So whenever do any transactions, it will not fail. You understood, right?
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
I think first we need to create in Oracle, right?